Hello, beautiful person. I'm glad you're here. Welcome back to Becoming Her, a series about confidence, relationships, travel, and becoming the woman you know you're capable of being. Think of this as your daily big sister reminder, the things I learned the hard way so you don't have to. And today we are talking about something that might feel a little uncomfortable. You attract what you tolerate. It's easy to say, why do I always attract emotionally unavailable people? Why do my friends never show up for me? Why do people take advantage of me? But the harder question is, what am I allowing? Because attraction isn't just who approaches you, it's about who you keep, who you excuse, who you give repeated chances to, who you make space for, even when it hurts. When I was in school, I used to be friends with a group of people that were completely different than me. They would often make fun of me because I liked to stay at home and watch movies and read books and just do like all the cozy things, and they would party a lot back then, and they would go out quite often and quite late. I like to go to bed early and I just didn't want to do it, and they would actually make fun of me, but I would still be friends with them. And I'm not sure why I was tolerating that kind of behavior, because it made me feel extremely uncomfortable, and I know that they were actually talking behind my back and they actually laughed at me a lot, but I would still like spend breaks with them. I would still talk to them and I would still consider them as my friends. But in reality, I didn't really feel that way because they just made me feel extremely uncomfortable, and I just felt like I can't relate to them because I liked completely different things than they did. Different music, different movies, like everything. And also I felt like they would never show up for me. Like when they needed me, I would always be there for them. But whenever I needed something, I almost never could ask them for anything. And I think that was a big issue. We don't tolerate poor behavior because we are stupid. We tolerate it because we are afraid of being alone, afraid of conflict, afraid of losing potential, and afraid of being too much. So we minimize. It's not that bad. They didn't mean it. I'm probably overreacting. Every time you override your discomfort, you teach someone how to treat you. And more importantly, you teach yourself what you believe you deserve. That's the part that strengths. So it's very important to set high standards when it comes to interaction with other people. And you have to remember that rising standards isn't glamorous. It often feels like loss before it feels like alignment. When you stop tolerating inconsistency, you might lose inconsistent people. When you stop accepting bare minimum effort, you might find fewer options. And that can feel scary because empty space feels unfamiliar. But empty space is not punishment, it's preparation. I also had another situation where I was stuck in a place that just made me feel very small and very uncomfortable, I would say. And I was often treated as someone less competent. I felt like I was sometimes seen as someone who is, I don't want to say stupid, but just doesn't know anything. I was often seen like as someone who doesn't know much what they were doing. I felt like even when I did something right, there was always a reason to tell me that I did something wrong. So it doesn't matter what I did, there was always something wrong, even if what I did was right. And I realized that that's happening a lot. I just decided to leave that environment because it was completely unnecessary, and I just felt extremely unappreciated, and it wasn't good for me or my health. And you have to remember that the shift isn't about becoming cold, it's about becoming clear. Instead of over explaining your boundaries, you simply say, that doesn't work for me. Instead of giving someone 10 chances, you observe patterns. Instead of hoping someone changes, you respond to who they are now. Clarity is calm. Standards are quiet. They don't require announcements, they require consistency. So, growth looks like leaving when your needs aren't met, not chasing someone who's inconsistent, not rewarding minimal effort, and not negotiating your self respect. It looks like choosing long term peace over short term validation. And yes, it may feel lonely at first, but loneliness in alignment is healthier than connection in self betrayal. So gently ask yourself, where am I tolerating something that doesn't feel good? Is it in dating, friendships, work, or maybe family? What am I afraid would happen if I stopped accepting it? Becoming her doesn't chase what disrespects her. She doesn't beg for consistency. She doesn't convince someone to care. She observes, she decides, she moves, not dramatically and not angrily, just clearly. She understands that her standards filter her life, and she's no longer afraid of losing what doesn't align. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Take a deep breath before you move on with your day. Notice where you can choose clarity over comfort. You are not behind, you're becoming. Thank you for listening once again, and see you tomorrow. Bye.